She's my boss. And somehow, she knows exactly how to get my mind off work. The story begins in the quiet hum of a bustling office, where the clatter of keyboards and the low murmur of colleagues form a constant, almost soothing backdrop. The male narrator, 24, is new to this environment. Fresh from college, eager to prove himself, yet slightly intimidated by the polished efficiency of the people around him. Among them, one presence stands out more than anyone else. His boss. She is in her early 40s, poised and confident, with a grace that seems effortless. But beneath that composed exterior, there's something quietly human about her. A vulnerability that only a few get to glimpse. From the moment he walks into her office for his first briefing, he notices the subtle details. The way she tucks a loose strand of hair behind her ear when concentrating, the faint scent of her perfume that drifts toward him as she leans over documents, the gentle curve of her smile when she notices a small detail he's overlooked. He can feel the weight of her gaze, not in a judgmental way, but as if she's quietly assessing the person behind the eager new employee. Their initial interactions are professional, polite, and precise. Yet there's an undercurrent that neither fully acknowledges yet. When she hands him a stack of files, their fingers brush ever so slightly, long enough for him to notice the warmth of her skin and the slight thrill it sends through him. He immediately chastises himself for noticing, reminding himself that she's his boss, that this is work, that there are boundaries. But even as he tries to focus on the tasks at hand, he finds his attention drawn to her small gestures. The tilt of her head, the thoughtful pause before she responds, the occasional quiet laugh at a joke that only she seems to find funny. In these moments, the office itself becomes more than a workspace. It is the stage for subtle emotional exchanges. He watches her move with an ease that comes from years of experience, while he is still finding his footing, yet somehow she notices the effort he puts in. There's a warmth in her acknowledgement, a nod, a brief compliment on his ideas, that sends an unexpected surge of confidence through him. This part of the story is about the first spark, the moment when admiration begins to blend with curiosity, and curiosity begins to hint at something deeper. There's no overt romance yet, no bold gestures, only the tiny, almost imperceptible touches and lingering glances that make the heart race in the quietest of moments. By the end of this part, the audience should feel the magnetic pull between them, subtle but undeniable, like the quiet tug of a tide. The goal is to immerse viewers in the narrator's perspective. The mixture of nervousness, admiration, and cautious intrigue. The office, the hum of electronics, the scent of coffee, the soft shuffle of papers, becomes a sensory playground where emotions are felt more than spoken, setting the stage for the slow, deliberate build of tension and intimacy that will unfold in the chapters to come. After the initial spark, the office begins to feel like a world of subtle signals and quiet discoveries. The male narrator notices more about his boss, the way her presence seems to fill a room without effort, the calm confidence she radiates when reviewing reports, and the occasional vulnerability that flickers across her face when she's deep in thought. He begins to anticipate her moods, subconsciously tuning in to the slight shifts in her expressions, the way she exhales softly when relieved, or the small smile she gives when something amuses her. Their interactions naturally move into shared spaces, which heightens the tension and intimacy without either of them fully realizing it. Coffee breaks, hallway encounters, and late afternoon work sessions become opportunities for small moments charged with understated energy. At the office coffee machine, she laughs at a joke he makes, and for a moment, their eyes lock a beat too long, a spark igniting in that fleeting pause. They begin sharing small personal details. He talks about his favorite childhood memories or a song that reminds him of home. She opens up about a recent trip or a quiet hobby she enjoys. These exchanges are small, but they slowly strip away the professional armor, allowing the human connection to grow. Physical proximity becomes another layer of tension. When reviewing documents together, they stand shoulder to shoulder, just close enough to feel the warmth of each other's presence. Their hands occasionally brush over papers, sending a subtle, electric thrill through him. Every accidental touch lingers a heartbeat longer than necessary, yet neither pulls away immediately. Even the act of sitting close during presentations or walking side by side down the office hallway feels charged with unspoken possibility. The sensory details of their environment amplify the growing emotional intimacy. The hum of computers, the faint aroma of coffee, and the soft rustle of papers form a backdrop that feels almost cinematic. He notices the slight scent of her perfume whenever she moves past, a subtle reminder of her presence. The lighting in the office softens in the late afternoon, casting long shadows that make their shared moments feel private and intimate, even amidst the hustle of colleagues. Emotionally, this part is about curiosity blossoming into genuine affection. The male narrator feels himself drawn to her warmth, her intelligence, and the calm way she handles challenges. Yet he wrestles with the knowledge that she is his boss and their interactions must remain professional. Meanwhile, she begins to rely on his presence, appreciating not just his competence but the comfort he brings. A listening ear, a thoughtful suggestion, a quiet acknowledgement when things get stressful. Their bond strengthens through these shared spaces, subtle gestures, and emotional exchange, all while the tension simmers just below the surface. By the end of part 2, the audience should feel the magnetic pull intensifying. It's no longer mere admiration. It's a connection that lingers in glances, touches, and shared laughter. The office, once simply a workplace, has become a stage for growing intimacy. A sensory-rich world where each gesture, each look, carries emotional weight. The foundation is set for flirtation, trust, and vulnerability to deepen in the next chapters. The subtle spark that has been building between them begins to find its first voice, not through grand declarations or overt flirtation, but through humor, playfulness, and gentle acknowledgement. The office is unusually quiet that afternoon, the low hum of the air conditioning and distant typing providing a perfect backdrop for moments that feel almost intimate in their simplicity. The male narrator and his boss are huddled over a shared project, reviewing the final stages of a presentation. Stress is palpable, deadlines loom, and tension edges the air. It is in this space that she first speaks words that linger. "You always know how to get my mind off work." She says it lightly, with a smile that hints at both appreciation and amusement. For a split second, the room feels suspended, as though time has slowed around them. He feels a rush of warmth, a sudden awareness of her presence, the curve of her smile, the subtle lift of her eyebrows. He catches himself staring, immediately chastising himself for overthinking, yet unable to stop the thrill that ripples through him. The humor in her words serves as a bridge, an opening for more personal connection. They begin sharing small, playful banter, teasing each other gently about minor mistakes or office quirks. A laugh escapes him, and he notices her eyes crinkle at the corners, the soft warmth of her gaze fixed on him for a heartbeat longer than normal. Each joke, each shared smile, becomes a layer of intimacy, a subtle acknowledgement that their connection has grown beyond the professional. Physicality, though minimal, begins to hold more weight in these moments. When they lean over the same document, their shoulders brush, lingering slightly longer than necessary. Her hand hovers near his as she gestures toward a spreadsheet, and though neither touches, the proximity carries a quiet electricity. He becomes acutely aware of small sensory details, the faint scent of her perfume, the gentle rustle of her blouse as she moves, the warmth radiating from her as she laughs at something he says. These subtle interactions are loaded with meaning, though unspoken, and the narrator's internal monologue reflects both excitement and hesitation. Emotionally, this is the first moment where their connection becomes explicitly recognized, even if only playfully. He realizes that he looks forward to these interactions, not just for the work itself, but for the way she makes him feel. Seen, appreciated, and quietly desired. She, in turn, seems to notice the same magnetic pull, though she navigates it with her usual blend of professionalism and subtle vulnerability. The age difference, office hierarchy, and social expectations hover at the edge of consciousness, adding a layer of complexity to every glance and smile. By the end of Part 3, the audience should feel the tension shifting from internal curiosity to shared acknowledgement. Humor becomes a tool for intimacy, creating a space where emotions can surface safely. The male narrator's awareness of her, the warmth in her gestures, the laughter that lights her features, the brief, lingering eye contact, sets the stage for vulnerability, confession, and deeper emotional connection in the chapters to come. The office, once a place of routine tasks and deadlines, now pulses with the quiet rhythm of attraction, teasing, and unspoken possibility. After the teasing humor of their previous interactions, the connection between the male narrator and his boss deepens, moving from playful acknowledgement to genuine emotional intimacy. The story shifts subtly. The office, previously just a professional backdrop, becomes a place where walls start to come down and quiet truths emerge. It happens one evening during a late project session. The office is mostly empty, the soft glow of desk lamps replacing the harsh overhead lighting, casting a warm, intimate ambience over the room. Papers rustle, keyboards click, and the hum of the air conditioning is almost hypnotic. She leans over a spreadsheet, the tension of the day visible in the line of her shoulders and the slight furrow in her brow. Without preamble, she confides a recent frustration, an ongoing work challenge, a minor disappointment, or the exhaustion of balancing professional pressures with personal responsibilities. It's a rare glimpse into her vulnerability, and the male narrator senses the weight behind her words. He listens carefully, his attention unwavering, offering quiet support rather than immediate solutions. Sometimes words aren't necessary. His presence alone, the way he leans slightly closer, the reassuring nod, the soft brush of his hand on the edge of the table as if grounding both of them in the moment, speaks volumes. She notices this, too, and her guarded posture softens. For the first time, she allows herself to relax in his presence, leaning back in her chair, letting a soft sigh escape as though the weight of her professional armor has lifted, if only briefly. The narrative emphasizes small, sensory details that heighten intimacy without crossing professional boundaries. He notices the gentle scent of her perfume mixed with the faint aroma of coffee she keeps at her desk, the warmth radiating from her as she talks, and the soft texture of her sweater sleeve as she brushes it with her fingertips during moments of thought. Every detail becomes a layer of connection, making the audience feel the closeness that words alone cannot convey. This part also explores internal conflicts. He is increasingly aware of his growing admiration, respect, and quiet affection for her, yet he wrestles with hesitation. Thoughts of workplace hierarchy, age difference, and social norms hover at the edge of his mind. She, too, struggles silently with the same concerns, balancing her natural gravitas with the unexpected comfort she finds in his presence. The tension is emotional rather than physical, simmering beneath gestures, glances, and the shared space they occupy. By the end of Part 4, their bond has solidified in subtle, powerful ways. It's no longer just a spark or playful tension. It's a shared trust, an emotional intimacy built on listening, understanding, and quiet, meaningful presence. The audience should feel the depth of their connection. Two people navigating attraction, hesitation, and vulnerability, finding solace in each other's company while the world outside remains professional and distant. The stage is set for the next phase of the story, where hesitation meets temptation and their emotional bond is tested by near moments of closeness and unspoken desire. By now, the connection between the male narrator and his boss has grown from playful banter to deep emotional intimacy, but boundaries remain firmly in place. Part 5 explores the moment when tension reaches its peak, the point where desire and restraint collide, leaving both characters acutely aware of what they feel but unsure if acting on it would be right. It begins one late evening in the office. The world outside is dim, city lights flickering through large windows, casting long, soft shadows across the workspace. The two of them are alone, finalizing a project that has consumed their week. The quiet hum of the air conditioning and the occasional click of the mouse are the only sounds, creating an intimate cocoon around them. She leans over the desk to point at a detail, and for a heartbeat, their faces are inches apart. The air between them is charged, a tangible pull neither can fully ignore. Every small gesture is magnified in this closeness. Their hands brush as they reach for the same folder, and a spark jolts through him, an electric thrill tempered by hesitation. She pauses mid-motion, her eyes locking on his with a mixture of curiosity, longing, and uncertainty. There is a fleeting moment where the office, the desks, the papers, the hum of technology, feels suspended, a private world where only the two of them exist. Internally, both are navigating a storm of emotions. He feels a magnetic pull toward her warmth, intelligence, and elegance, yet his mind screams caution. She's his boss. This is a professional environment, and crossing this line could complicate everything. Similarly, she wrestles with the implications of acting on her attraction. The age gap, social perception, and workplace boundaries hover in her thoughts like ghosts she cannot fully ignore. Yet the quiet intimacy they share, the laughter, the small touches, the emotional honesty, makes restraint almost painful. This part leans heavily on sensory detail to immerse the audience. The faint scent of her perfume lingers in the warm, recycled office air. The soft rustle of her blouse as she moves closer, the subtle warmth radiating from her body, the quiet tension in the space between them. All of it is heightened by the dim lighting and the stillness of the night. His pulse races, her breath catches slightly. Every subtle movement feels loaded with meaning. Despite the tension, they do not cross the line. The moment ends with a shared glance, lingering longer than professional decorum allows, and a quiet acknowledgement of the connection they cannot yet act upon. There is longing, but also respect and self-restraint. This hesitation is key. It makes the eventual emotional resolution more satisfying because the audience experiences the depth of their attraction alongside the character's internal struggles. By the end of Part 5, the audience should feel the intensity of unspoken desire, the pull of magnetic chemistry, and the weight of restraint. This is the emotional climax of subtle tension, the point where attraction is undeniable, but neither character can fully surrender to it. The story has reached a pivotal crossroads. The next part will move toward resolution, where reliance, trust, and shared vulnerability pave the way for either confession, closeness, or emotional clarity. After nights of quiet tension, lingering glances, and restrained desire, the story reaches a pivotal moment where vulnerability and trust converge, transforming the simmering attraction into an undeniable emotional connection. Part 6 is the turning point, the chapter where the male narrator and his boss finally acknowledge the depth of their feelings without necessarily rushing into romance. It begins during a high-pressure moment at work, perhaps a looming deadline or a sudden crisis with a major client. The office is dimly lit, papers scattered, screens glowing softly. The stress is tangible, pressing down on both of them. She's visibly anxious, pacing, muttering through her tasks, while he quietly steps in to anticipate needs, organize documents, and offer calm reassurance. Their teamwork is seamless, their communication almost instinctive, as if the weeks of shared laughter, small touches, and emotional exchange have built a silent language between them. In the midst of this chaos, a minor mishap occurs. A spilled coffee, a misprinted document, or an unexpected email. Instantly, they're side by side, reacting with coordinated urgency. The stress gives way to a shared moment of levity. A laugh, a breathless grin, a brief hand squeeze on the arm that neither pulls away from. This small, tactile gesture is electric, loaded with weeks of unspoken longing. It's here, in the eye of the storm, that the emotional turning point occurs. The male narrator sees a different side of her. her vulnerability, her humanity, the weight of responsibility she carries, and she sees him in a new light, not just as a competent employee, but as a steadfast presence who understands and supports her. They share a quiet moment by the window, city lights reflecting off glass, where he offers a reassuring hand on her shoulder or a subtle brush of his fingers across her wrist. It's intimate, deliberate, and entirely YouTube-safe, yet every nuance is felt. Emotionally, both characters confront the intensity of their feelings. He recognizes the longing that has been simmering beneath the surface, tempered by respect and hesitation. She acknowledges her attraction, tempered by professional boundaries and the complexities of the age gap. Yet in this shared moment, the focus isn't on what they cannot do. It's on the trust and understanding they have built. Their connection solidifies in silence, in touch, and in the shared acknowledgement of being seen fully by another person. The narrative emphasizes sensory detail to heighten immersion. The faint hum of the city outside, the soft glow of the monitors, the warmth of a shared hand, the gentle scent of her perfume mingling with coffee. These details make the moment vivid, tactile, and emotionally resonant. The audience feels the intimacy not through words alone, but through gestures, glances, and the charged stillness between them. By the end of Part 6, the audience should sense that a shift has occurred. The emotional stakes have crystallized, the tension resolved into mutual understanding, and the groundwork is laid for the final resolution. Whether the story will end with commitment, uncertainty, or a gentle farewell, the emotional turning point ensures that the bond between them is undeniable, profound, and unforgettable. This chapter sets the stage for the satisfying, emotionally rich conclusion of the slow burn romance. The story reaches its culmination, where the weeks of subtle tension, playful banter, and emotional intimacy converge into a moment of clarity and connection. After the near miss of Part 5 and the trust forged in Part 6, both the male narrator and his boss are acutely aware of what they feel, and this final chapter allows those emotions to find expression, even if subtly, in a way that feels authentic, respectful, and deeply human. It begins one evening, just after the office has emptied, leaving only the soft glow of desk lamps and the gentle hum of the city beyond the windows. They are alone, wrapping up the final details of a major project. There's a natural quiet between them, not awkward, but charged with weeks of shared glances, laughs, and lingering touches. The tension that has simmered for so long is palpable, yet it's no longer anxiety or hesitation. It's recognition, mutual acknowledgement, and a quiet relief that they are finally aware of each other's feelings. He notices the small details that have always drawn him to her. The soft arch of her brow as she concentrates, the subtle warmth in her smile, the delicate way she tucks her hair behind her ear. She notices him too, the attentiveness in his eyes, the ease with which he supports her, the calm confidence that balances her own intensity. In this moment, words are not immediately necessary. A hand brushes lightly against hers as they organize paperwork, lingering just long enough to let the connection speak. Their eyes meet, and in that silent exchange, everything is understood. Admiration, desire, respect, and a hint of affection that has been building since their first interaction. They share a quiet conversation, soft and intimate, reflecting on the stress of the past weeks and the unexpected comfort they have found in each other. He expresses appreciation for her guidance and the trust she has shown, while she admits that his presence has made even the most difficult moments easier to navigate. The emotional honesty deepens the bond, and though neither makes an overt romantic declaration, the intimacy is undeniable. Sensory details enhance the scene. The faint scent of her perfume mingles with the lingering aroma of coffee. The warm glow of the city lights reflects in their eyes, and the soft sound of their shared laughter or quiet breaths creates a private rhythm. Every gesture, the gentle hand on her shoulder, the subtle brush of fingers, the small, lingering smile, feels meaningful, emotionally charged, and safe for a YouTube audience. Depending on the chosen ending tone, this part can resolve in several ways. together and secure. They decide to explore a relationship outside work, leaving the office hand in hand, smiles soft and full of promise. Together but uncertain. They share a quiet, lingering hug, acknowledging their feelings while understanding the complexities that lie ahead. Emotional resolution without romance. They part with a warm, meaningful handshake or a gentle hug, recognizing the depth of their bond without stepping into romance. The key is that the story ends with emotional closure. The audience should feel satisfaction, warmth, and resonance. The slow burn tension has resolved into understanding, affection, and a meaningful connection. The office, which has been the stage for every subtle glance, touch, and shared moment, now feels like a place of growth, trust, and enduring connection. The narrative closes on a note of fulfillment, leaving viewers emotionally content while honoring the slow, deliberate arc of attraction and intimacy that has unfolded throughout the story. Sparkles, if you enjoyed this slow burn romance, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that tugs at your heart. Share your thoughts in the comments. Would you take a chance on a love that blooms in unexpected places?